Good morning. It's Tuesday and it's 9 a.m. and it's August 2nd in 2022. Welcome, Kate. We're here on MJ and Kate. We're live every Tuesday. And if you're watching with us today, go ahead and put down in the comments where you're watching from. Even if you're watching on the replay, let us know where you're coming from. So today we are going to be talking about National Back to School Month, and that starts here in August as people gear up, parents, teachers, school students for the season of education. And in the United States, we've started our school year usually in the fall, traditionally begins in the fall and ends in late spring, allowing them children of farmers and our agricultural community to help with the harvest. But that's kind of how things started, and they just continue to do the same today, even though most people have moved into cities and that sort of thing. So, with the shorter days, it's time to dust off the backpacks and fill them up and plan for the new school year. So, Kate, how are we going to head out with this topic today?
So we've got a lot to get to today. We do have a guest that will share some time with us while she's on her last break of the summer. We do have Shelly Homolka with us from Lakewood Public Schools. Shelly is, wow, where's the... Oh, because it's in two separate emails, that's why. So Shelly is a behavior interventionist. She's a licensed professional counselor. She's also certified as a trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapist. And she has excellent information for us today to help moms, dads, guardians, and most importantly, our kids get mentally prepared to get back to school. Because I don't know about you, Michael J., but I almost think the back to school shopping is the easiest part of back to school, but getting my head ready and my kids ready is the more challenging of the two things. What about you guys?
I remember this little video. I remember this little video going around with this woman who strolls into Target with her shopping cart, and she's like, whatever the teacher wants. You want a yellow binder, you want a blue binder, you want a whatever, as long as you're going to take my kid for for the rest of the thing. So I have a sister-in-law who is a teacher as well, and so she works in school system, and so some schools have a lot of parent involvement and some schools don't. And I think that's one of the best ways that you can help not only your child but your school to be involved, sometime during the school year. I mean, even 3 hours sometime during the school year is like watching Titanic, right? So you could probably make out some time to help out with that. And so we're doing the last minute camps for our kids right before school starts, and then they'll be going back on my birthday, the 22nd, here in our area.
Wow. Is that, I thought that's the 22nd. Okay, well, so we've got 20 days, Michael J. 20 days to get ready. 20 days and counting.
So, yeah.
Well, should we have Shelly come on so that she can get back to enjoying her vacation? We can...
Absolutely. So what you want to go ahead and introduce her and I'll bring her in?
Sure. So we've got Shelly here. Shelly is, like I said, she's a licensed counselor from Lakewood. Is that the school, Shelly? Yeah, Lakewood Public Schools. And she is an amazing resource for the students in her school. The stories that she shared with us during COVID and how she kept teachers sane, as well as being able to connect with the students. She's got some great stories just on making sure we're all doing our part to stay mentally healthy. So, hey, Shelly, how are you?
Oh, there she is.
That's me.
I'm trying to figure out how to get you in here. There
we go.
You only want to see about this much of me, though.
So, Shelly, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. I figured back to school, especially these days, most importantly, we need to know some tips and tricks on helping people be prepared, not just with what's in their kid's backpack, but what's in their kid's brain and emotionally. So maybe we should just hop right into it and ask you what's the best thing we can do to help get our kids ready for this upcoming school year.
So I have 4 children, and they are a range of ages. Routines and our schedules and what we do to get back into the school year is because they each require something very different. I have 2 twins, and they're 8 years old, going into 3rd grade. So elementary school looks for us. But elementary school, I think it's putting them back into those wonderful bedtime structures and routines. Some great little kid books with them. I believe there's a llama back to school that is really engaging and helpful for them. Down another one. Oh, The Night Before 1st Grade was another great book to kind of start processing of what's going to happen and what is school going to look like. I think there's a lot of anxiety that goes around with children. I mean, that's elementary school and that's middle school and high school. And talking about that's okay that we all get nervous. Even as adults, we get nervous when we're doing something new or starting something back up again. Open dialogue about what that looks like. And then, again, just doing that routine, again, remembering that our little kids need 10 to 13 hours, right? So 7:30 is an okay bedtime to get going with for us. Right? And it gives you another couple. Checking routines for the buses, schedules, I think are prepared and know what's going to happen. That always decreases your worry and your fears. So those are all pieces that I think are pretty easy for our parents to share with our kids so they're on the same page as us.
So I think I told you this weekend, Shelly. It was either a podcast it was a podcast where they were talking about anxiety, especially for kids now, is much higher than when we were in elementary school because they've lived through a pandemic and life really was a lot different for kids, especially like 1st, 2nd, 3rd graders. And I read, or the lady was talking about how do you reduce anxiety, and one of the tips that she had is programming. Just what are you watching with your kids? What are you allowing them to see? And she said that I have kids coming to school that are 7 years old that are scared because they watched things like Stranger Things with their parents. There's nothing wrong with Stranger Things, but for a 7-year-old, their brain doesn't distinguish between fact and fiction. So that's adding to their already anxious state because we've all been anxious for 3 years. So do you have anything, like, what would your advice to that be? Like, how can you engage you have kids who are junior in high school and 3rd graders. So how do you even balance that? Like, yes, it's okay for my son to watch Stranger Things, but maybe not my 8-year-old.
Sadly, when I talk to parents and guardians of kids, I don't think they realize how traumatic watching for your children. And it's exactly what you said, Kate. Their brains are not developed to decipher what's real and what's not real. There is, unfortunately, has been a big topic of conversation just with and they really do not know how to categorize, put that into their brain so that they understand it's just a fictional character and it's not something happen, and there isn't a clown that lives in the sewer. So you're watching and paying attention to YouTube videos and shows that put these different thoughts and ideas that aren't real in that brains. It's really important. We're starting to talk more and more about technology, just monitoring our children and what they're watching and what they're seeing, but don't always talk about the fact that we're letting them watch things that are not appropriate. They have no way to control those fears and that anxiety that comes with watching those. It's our job as parents, I think, to protect our children, and that's a very protect them and take care of them.
I love what you said about that. They need so much of that time for sleep. So like maybe we just don't watch Stranger Things at 7:30. Maybe we watch it at 11:30 and have our own. I mean, that's a little too late. That's way past my bedtime. But you know, I think it's hard to get. I don't know about you, but when my kids were younger, getting my 8-year-old to bed by 7:30, our lives were just busy. Like they're at practice until 7 o'clock. And now I got to figure out how I'm going to get them to get fed and all of that. Like that's definitely presents a challenge.
Yes, our house too. We do a lot, and there's certain expectations that I think you have to lay out. Like when you get off the school bus, you get a snack and you do your homework, because I think in most houses, it's like mine. School comes first. Sports are your extracurricular activities. So if we get home, get things done, then hopefully we get it done before we go to those sports or other, or you have to do it when you get back, but hopefully it's not as much. My older kids, I talk to them a lot about preparing ahead of time, not cramming everything in at the last minute. And this is a struggle. Don't get me wrong. Trying to tell them to study for a test until Thursday on a Saturday is just not. But he also plays soccer. It's necessary to break up and wants to play.
So as you're the kids are going to, so what are some of the things that we can do as far as setting a routine early at home now, a couple of weeks before school starts?
So go back into those bedtime 15-minute increments. So maybe go to bed 15 minutes earlier. They're a week, 2 weeks ahead of time for school, so they start to get back on that earlier schedule. I set plans are for school and maybe prep some of those things in the morning. Have your clothes laid out and ready to go. Maybe off in your pickup routines. All those things kind of ease and start doing it again, and it helps calm again those anxieties that kids have about the unknown that happen. I'm trying to think. I also thought about if you have time, a nice play date with a friend and reconnecting for your young people. They have a familiar face there and somebody that they go, oh yeah, kind of eases those pieces for them too. I'm trying to, touch on the anxiety part that I said before. Some of it's really normal, and in that if you see different symptoms like headaches and stomach ache, separating from you, not wanting to do the things they normally like to do, are huge signs of it. anxiety. If it lasts more than a month, then you probably want to take a look at what's going on into your school and your staff to get a better idea of what's happening would be a good idea. I don't ever play off like to not see either, and we live in a world right now where there's been so much change, like you said. It's important to pay attention to that. Know when we need help and support.
So what you're saying is the counselor at the school is not there just to help them get their class schedule made, but you actually want to help our kids who are possibly struggling, and we should reach out to our school and use you as a resource and partner with you.
Oh my goodness, please. Oh, the more communication there, the more that we are working together with parents and talking through things to be for them and for our kids. General ed is actually with social and emotional learning, and just at we're doing social emotional lessons in the classroom now, talking with kids about feelings and being able to use words to tell us how they're feeling and what. It seems so simple, I think, to adults that we just know if you start words and you talk it through. But kids do not have ways to identify how they're feeling as easily, and we need to where they feel it in their bodies and their brains, and how to talk about those things, work with them on that would be wonderful. Along with, like I said, talking to your counselor, your teachers. It takes a village. We need to help each other, and the more we do that, the better our kids will be.
Michael J., do you have any other questions for Shelly before we let her go and get back to her vacation?
Well, Shelly, we talked a little bit about the elementary kids and getting them started early on their routine and back in there. And so, what's some advice with dealing with your older kids who are maybe in junior high or high school, or maybe even a senior, and they are not quite adults yet, but they think they're adults?
Oh, wow, that's a problem for a so I really talk a lot about technology with them, and mine love that they have a curfew for their phones and their devices at nighttime, just like I'm sure all of yours do. So we expect them to have their devices up on the countertop in our kitchen, 30 and 10 o'clock. We have middle schoolers, so his is a little bit earlier than sleep. But those are pieces to helping them sleep better, and then their notifications aren't going off and checking Snap at 4 o'clock in my house too. And keeping their brain and ready to learn and go. So that's a big piece of what we important for other families, to just eliminate that technology, settle down and sleep. There's been a lot of studies with blue screens. It seems to suppress your melatonin, and we need melatonin to help us sleep. Devices away is probably one of my biggest positions for parents.
Oh, that's going to be such a challenge. We've been letting our kids have their technology all summer until whenever. And now I have to say, okay, 9:30, guys. Remember, we put it on the counter. 9:30, we plug that in, get that baby charged.
Yeah. So one of the
Um,
things that my son complains about is that he has limits on how long he can use a particular device, and he's like, "But it's summer, but it's summer." So, yeah, even the TV shut off at a certain time at our house. So the Wi-Fi is for every device is on a timer. If you don't know how to do that at your home, just look for some Google videos. They'll show you how to do it, and that way you can have some limits on the technology. So. It doesn't it's not fun for your kids, but you got to remember who's the adult in the room, I guess. So,
Absolutely.
you know,
and go
oh,
ahead.
sorry, it's things. I think it takes two of it, is if I remember that correctly. So after 2 weeks, I feel like we should all be smooth.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Oh,
well, thanks for joining us from your vacation. Do you want to share the beautiful place you're staying at?
Oh, which you can't go wrong. Summer, winter, it's a beautiful place to be, and we have some families their place, which is just a blessing and a gift. And so the with all of us here, and then we will start our year back up like you guys. Thank
Yeah,
you for
absolutely.
thank you, Shelly. Have a great vacation.
yeah. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, I guess I'll put myself back with you. There you go.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I didn't need to be the big screen. I appreciate it.
I'm gonna switch this though. um, so one of the things she mentioned was getting back into a routine and that sort of thing. And so I know that once we moved up here, and it was actually said to us before we even moved up here, is that um, it's hard for the kids to go to bed at 7 o'clock when the sun's like full bright out, right? So somebody told us, get blackout shades for their rooms, So
Uh-huh.
that was a great tip on their part. But I know as the days progress, they're going to be less and less wanting to stay the course, So, but the digitals is a big thing.
Yes, I don't know why we let off the gas with the putting your devices away. I know for our kids, like there was like, but my alarm is on my phone. Yeah, so we bought them alarm clocks so
Yeah,
that they
yeah.
could use their actual.
Oh, actual alarm. So looks like Miss Kate got got booted off her internet there. So um, she's back
Oh,
now. She got booted off the internet.
wow. Oops. I don't know. I, that was odd, but anyway, yeah.
I was
So
agreeing with you, by the way, in that little blip while you were off. So nobody nobody talked bad about you or anything.
oh, perfect, perfect. No, no, talking behind my back. I'll watch it on the replay, Michael J.
I exactly see. I know what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. So speaking of the replay, if you want to catch our show after the fact, Michael J does a great job of making sure the replay gets posted, and you're not going to want to miss this one. We have lots of stuff about back to school that I feel is so important. So Michael J, do you have your kids' class lists like of things to buy yet?
I haven't seen those yet. So unless they have sent them, and I haven't seen them. So, but I know we're coming up on orientation here pretty soon. So.
Yeah, I know that at the Meyer in this was when my kids were in elementary school. I don't know if they still do it, but the local Myers would get the class lists from the local elementary schools and have them posted as you walked in. So you could just be like, oh, Mrs. Jones' class, I need the supplies. I don't know if they still do that, but that was
Yeah.
always a huge help because, not that my kids are that old, but it wasn't like we had smartphones when my kids first started in
Yeah.
elementary school. So
My
we
wife.
didn't.
Okay, so here's the difference between my wife and I. My wife would never have done this, um, but she appreciates that I did all the school supply shopping. So I used to print out their list, and I would put it. They'd each have their own little clipboard. So you have all three of these elementary kids with their own clipboard, and each had their own shopping cart. And we'd go into Target, and they would get whatever they needed and put it in each of their cart, and we would go down to make sure everybody had what they needed. and they check off their own list and everything. So we always go in the middle of the week though, like
Uh-huh.
well, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the middle of the week. So there's no like ton of people there, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's quite the circus.
I love that. That's such a cool idea. I will tell you that at the high school level, you don't find out what your kids need for class until the first day of class in many instances
Yeah.
because the teachers aren't there for orientation. And I got to tell you, when you have to go shopping on the first day of school and your kid has a sports practice and they have to go to work and like all this stuff, I'm like, you're not setting us up for success because guess who doesn't want to go to Meijer at 10 o'clock at night? Me, the
Yeah.
pocketbook. The
Yeah.
pocketbook does not want to go shopping for school supplies. Like, come on. Why can't we do it like elementary where we get it at
We
least
get
a
it
week
before.
before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're in junior high. We got an 8th grader and 2 7th graders. And other than basic supplies like pencil and pens and all that kind of stuff, which we already have here at the house, and backpacks that we bought strategically, very expensive backpacks. So they'll be using those again this year because
Uh-huh.
they've lasted us about 3 years. So yeah, we very strategically purchased some heavy duty backpacks, and so now I know that really they use binders a lot. So I've just ordered the binders and the dividers, and so those will come, and then pretty much we'll know we should have everything once the list comes out. So if anything's
Yes.
wonky, so and they already got their scientific calculators, which they got in 6th grade. So yeah, so I think they're set as far as that goes. The thing is getting back up. So we're leaving the house at 7 a.m. right? So that's going to
Mhm.
be the hard thing because you got to get up at 6 and you got to be out by 7. And I think we're going to be pretty stringent about riding the bus this year and not you can sleep another 15 minutes and someone's going to drive you because that ain't going to work.
Uh-huh.
this
So,
year.
Michael J., the trick so I feel ya. But the trick to make that happen is so our bus leaves at what? It's 7:15 or 7:05, right?
Yeah,
6:55, 7:05, something like
something like
that.
that. Yeah.
That's when my bus leaves at that time too. So if
Okay.
they need a ride to school and they want it with mom, they leave at the same time as the bus leaves
Okay.
because then they don't have a backup. I will say it's not 100% foolproof.
Right.
But now that we have a driver in the house, it has alleviated some of that pressure because she wants to
Okay.
drive to school.
Right.
So, and now she gets to drive. But Isaac and Therese will both be in the same building again this year. So,
Oh, okay. That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah. So back to school, check online for lots of resources about tips and tricks for finding stuff around town. I know, like, I didn't know what something was, and I had to post it on social media and says they're asking for this. What is it? And so all the moms and the teachers online responded and even sent pictures, so I would know what to buy. So.
Yes.
So reach out to your community. There's lots of resources in the community. I know here in Michigan, and I know other places as well that help people who may be struggling a little bit with some of the supplies in order to have them available for your kids. And reach out to the counselors at school, teachers, and set your kids up as much as you can for success for the first day. So. Yeah, and so next week we are going to be talking about thrifting. We're going to go bargain shopping, so we'll figure out how we're going to do this particular episode.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, Michael J.
But Kate and I are going to do a challenge and thrift with a certain dollar amount and see what we can come up with, and maybe that'll give you some pointers for picking up some extra school stuff or school clothes or whatever it is that you need. So
That's right.
yeah. So any parting shots?
Oh, just enjoy these last few days of summer, man. Don't let it go by without a trip to the beach or a day out sitting in the sun. Do something to enjoy this beautiful weather.
Yeah. So all right, take it easy, everybody.
Bye.